Welcome back to Mac's Garage. Today we're going to continue the bottom end assembly of this 79cc Predator 4-cycle gas engine. As of right now, we've got the piston rings, connecting rod torqued, the crankshaft set down into the governor assembly, and we're ready to start assembling it the rest of the way. Now basically what we're going to need for the rest of this are these little parts right here. So we've got our camshaft, our lifters, and the other half of our engine case. So what we'll do at this point is I'm just going to drop a little bit of oil right down into the case, because everything's pretty clean at the moment, and I can lubricate everything we need off of the little well of oil that's going to stay in there. And we are going to have to add oil anyway, so I'll just go ahead, add some oil into the bottom end. Now this does mean that we're going to have to be somewhat careful with the rest of the assembly, because oil can shoot out this way. So after this starts to go together, we can't lay it with the cylinder head down anymore. So we'll take our lifters. Hopefully you did a better job of keeping track of which one goes where than I did. But we'll soak them in oil real quick, just so that they're lubricated in their bore. Drop them in the oil. They slide up into their houses there, so you can kind of see. And I got a little bit of a cut on my finger, so that's the rag. But we got a lifter there and a lifter there, so they are now in place. After that, we will start looking for dots. So there's a dot on the crankshaft gear, and then there's a dot on the camshaft gear right here. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll rotate the crankshaft, which should spin relatively easily now, and we'll line it up. So I've got the dot on this crankshaft gear basically lined up with the hole that the camshaft is going to sit into. Now I do want to get a little bit of oil on the end of this camshaft before I set it in place, and then we will find our dot here, and we will simply line that up. Oops, spun it a little bit too far. Okay. So those dots, that dot and that dot, put the crankshaft and camshaft in line so that the valves up on top of the piston open and close at the right time in order to make this engine run. If you don't get these lined up, this engine's never going to run. Okay, so now I'm going to just take my finger, which is nice and clean, dip it in a little bit of oil, rub it onto the areas where we're going to have any kind of movement. Take our gasket, lay it in place. Now this bottom half of our engine, or not the bottom half, the other half of the engine case, and it's not even really half, should just drop down into place. Now I should be able to take the bolts that I took out of the case and start running them back in. There's only 6 of these. Should be able to just snug these up. Before you start tightening these, make sure that it is sat down evenly all the way around. There's no gaps, nothing's holding up, nothing weird like that. Okay, so we'll go around, torque all these down. These smaller screws are an 8.86 millimeter. They're roughly 86 inch-pounds. Okay, so I'll go ahead. I'm going to start down here on the bottom. Kind of go in a wide circle. Alright, and that is basically it for the bottom end. All my marks wore off the piston from earlier, but this engine should, and I can't grip it because my hands are all oily, but if I grab the flywheel, get it onto its keyway, this engine spins over very easily by hand, and that means that everything is probably going back together right. So that's it for this video, just installing the camshaft, and the engine plate is basically it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.